Are you ready?
All the ready.
Hey. Punch him in the schnoz. Oh. Seems to be working. Maybe. Well, I can hear myself, but I cannot hear you. You there, hun?
I'm here. Hi.
Oh. Hi. Oh.
Hi.
Okay, cool. So I am hearing you. Cool. So we sound Gucci's. Hi, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will. It is less of a actual video as is a recap, of course. Simply because to let those who don't know exactly. The last episode, hi Piranha, the last episode of Shifting Fates was unfortunately removed because we essentially didn't have audio for that video, which was quite annoying. But essentially, because of that, we were unfortunately unable to have anything there, which was annoying. Why am I peaking so much? It's very annoying.
I have no idea.
I will lower that. There we go. Okay. Maybe I am known to be less peaking now. Maybe. Hopefully. Possibly. Anyways. So because of that, and obviously the fact that we can't just play a video that has no audio, we're instead doing a recap episode for y'all. Just to make it a little bit better for everyone. So perhaps a mic setting was changed. I guess. I've never actually had to lower this microphone before because it's at like max. That's actually a good point. Hold on, let me.
Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. And eventually, some point this week, there will also be a recap video of the last two jump chain videos.
Yes. Okay. Hopefully, I am not peaking quite as much. Oh, I'm very quiet apparently. All right, I turned up again. Maybe this is better. Let's see. Probably. This microphone has not liked me this entire time for some reason or another, so.
You sound fine to me, so.
Yeah. But it requires me to have my voice proper. Good middle ground. Yeah. I mean, it is good sound, but it's like, was peaking. Well, it doesn't sound like it's peaking now, maybe. Hopefully. Only my loud speaking. Turn that down, turn this up, and let's see if that makes a difference. Okay.
Yeah, usually you have your filter on, but for this you don't. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have my own filter on my computer, which is why I don't
Fair.
use my filter at this point. But, it's weird. Because essentially I have, like, multiple filters going at the moment. Usually I go into my Scarlet box would normally do the audio for me, but unlike normal where it's like barely touch up the dial, it's like max dial and you can kind of hear me. So it's a little bit difficult. You can hear it in my hear it in some of my other things where I peak really heavily. So anyways, I'll just keep it at that for now, and I'll continue playing around with it, trying to fix it in the future. So, but yeah, so we're doing a recap video for episode 12 of, sorry, not episode 12, episode 26 of Shifting Fates. And then we're going to be doing episode 27 of Shifting Fates on the 27th, Ooh,
That's
spooky.
funny.
Yeah.
Totally not on
Um,
purpose, of course.
Please, if we tried to make that on purpose, do you think we could?
Honestly, fair enough.
um, but yeah, so we're going to be doing another episode on that day, and let's give a cheer, woo, for Tables of Taurus, our YouTube channel,
Woohoo!
just passed 5,000
Yay!
views in its lifetime. So I am very excited about
It's
that. I think that is
growing.
the most views that we've had on, I think, any of our channels so far, actually, if I remember correctly. Um, yeah, by far, I would say. Let me check Purgatory actually, because that's our most long-standing one. Oh, okay, so it's gotten to the same view count, or just below the view count of Purgatory Corner, our primary YouTube channel. So that's really interesting. I like that. That's very interesting to me. But anyways, that's our woo for the day. And
Honestly, it's
actually,
been a
the
good day overall, so
it's been a
hopefully you
very
guys
good
are
day.
having
We
a
we
good
just
day.
got Yeah, we just got approved for our apartment, so very happy. But yeah. So for the recap, we're just kind of going go through, kind of talk about what happened. At least don't add bits and pieces every now and again when I forget things, or just to add a little bit more spice to it. So we'll see what happens. But essentially, the crew finished the task for Mrs. Claus, which was going to uh essentially the North Pole in a different multi-dimensional plane of existence. Helped her find her husband, save her husband, and then he gave them a bunch of items. One of them for, I think it was Ellie. He hadn't finished, or Ellie
Yeah,
didn't. Ellie
so
told him.
Ellie, so I don't remember what the others asked for, but Ellie essentially asked for a way to end the war, but that wasn't really an answer. So she said to simply surprise her.
Mm-hmm. So he's
So,
making her something. Um, he also has a gift for Demon, but we haven't got not Demon, Dan, but we haven't gotten that far yet. And he gave a couple other items to Bill, and try to remember if there's anyone else with you at the time. I won't feel bad for this, aren't I?
Bill?
I already
Micah
said
didn't
Bill.
get a gift. Okay.
I'll feel real
Yep.
bad about this in a second. Oh, Mashrina was there, but she wasn't there. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
She
why
was
I felt
asleep.
really bad. So I didn't give her anything. But yeah, and so they got all that stuff. They came back to the town, and they brought along the kobold with them that they found inside of the Christmas area, because he was just kind of, by himself, kind of wandering, beating up a tree. And then they were like, how about you don't beat up a tree, buddy? Come with us. And he was like, okay. And Mrs. Claus thanked them for the work and agreed to use her teleportation circles in order to get them out to the town once they finished everything they needed to do in the town. They had a few things they needed to still do, and because of this, Ellie asked Mrs. Claus how many times could she teleport people, and how specific of a location could they ask for. And Mrs. Claus said she could teleport only a few times a day, and her teleports weren't super exact. Namely, that would be right where she intends to go, or possibly several miles around it, somewhere in the general vicinity. She seemed very hesitant and almost bashful in talking about that specifically, but she did let them know that when the group was finished in town, they could contact her simply by knocking on the door to the building 3 times. So her ability is unreliable, technically speaking. It'll get you where you want to go, or in the general vicinity, which is risky, but at this point, crew doesn't have much other choice that they can do. Um, a new character joined the game this episode, going by the name Averin, and is played by Colty Cat, my sister. She also does a lot of the animations, including not the animations, the art, including the art around the screen. Although the book, I believe, is something that Ellie found.
Yeah, the book
Although
is completely different as an in-between thing.
it's very weird that the page just kind of sticks straight up. I'll be honest.
Well,
Try to have fun. Anyways, so Cultica has joined us. She is a half-elf bard, as best the party can tell. and looks to have several magical items on her person. When the party walks out of Mrs. Claus' house, they see her talking to Marigold, who is simply letting her know that the slums are under quarantine. Effectively, this means that no one is allowed in or out. In most cases, they just get shot. In some rare cases, being shot is the least they could do. They could do much, much worse with bigger fireballs. The only way to get out of the city would be to get Mrs. Claus's favor, or potentially be able to sneak out, or potentially having someone else teleport you, digging your way out using a shovel, using the depths, or simply going as far down to the depths as possible to possibly find a secret passage. All of those have about the same likelihood of succeeding, which is not very. Um, but the party has already helped Mrs. Claus, and Averin at this point notices the party and offers her assistance in return for getting to leave, essentially, with the main group. She doesn't appear to have any ulterior motive behind this. She simply seems curious upon the group and wanted to see what adventures follow them. However, this being said, she did not seem to currently care much about the group itself. And based on Ellie's insight check and several other people's insight checks, she looks like a walking red flag, just specifically not on whether or not she will betray the party. They are 100% confident that she will not betray the party simply because she does not care. She is just very curious. Not the only one weirded out by that. By the book. That's a much better book. I like that book a lot more. Mostly because it has a better frame rate. Although having two books is very conflicting. Yeah, the book was very strange, mostly because the page. You guys got a hint for something in the background.
You know
That
what?
book
My left hand is trying at the moment. It's not. Yeah.
It's cute. It's fine. But anyways, yeah, Averin, basically a giant walking red flag of terror and horror and stuff like that. She seems to genuinely be interested in what the group is going to do, and 100% genuinely will not betray them for no reason. At this point, Oliver stated that he's been working on treatment for an illness going around, and he's hoping to find some rats to experiment on as a test for the humans he would eventually do. Averin has been in slums for quite some time, it seems, so she led the group to get several rats from them just randomly hiding about inside of this dark, dank depths of hell. At this point, we then flip over to Rowena, who is still taking care of her friend Faye, who mentioned that her blue veins are becoming somewhat more prominent, which could possibly spell disaster. So, dangerous. Rowena mentions that some of her views have been starting to change because of her adventures, namely the fact that she's been getting kind of confused on what was good necessarily and what was bad at this point. Mentioning that even though tieflings were supposed to be the epitome of evil, the one she's been traveling with for at least the last several weeks has literally done nothing, period, but try help people, and even is going so far as to help Faye, even though Rowena has essentially just threatened him their entire journey. With, like, no exceptions, except for, like, probably last, like, 4 days.
Yep.
Faye kept making
Which
jokes.
honestly makes her friend happy, and her Faye is very insistent that Rowena does not worry about her, that she'll be fine. And off and on, Faye does make jokes or sounds like she is going to die, despite
I'm
all
making some
efforts.
death jokes and raising some death flags. Don't worry about my death flags, 'cause I'm waving them, I'm waving them. My schemes and
No
evil
pressure at
children.
all.
Yeah, so this obviously concerns Rowena to an incredible degree. And she essentially just gets consistently more and more worried about literally everything going on. Eventually, they conclude that the best bet at the moment was just to go find Oliver and check on the status of the treatment. Hopefully, it will be done soon. As Rowena was concerned about the stage of infection that Faye was currently in. They then went to make their way back to the last place that she remembered seeing them, which was Tommy's Tavern. We skip a little bit forward ahead in time here to make it back to the tavern with the rats in the box. Oliver had departed to his room to begin his experiments immediately, as everyone else made for the bar to chat and get to know our new friend, which was who was our new friend?
Avern?
Labyrinth. That's right. I
Yes.
was thinking of
I was trying to remember what happened in that scene. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah, I was thinking of
Well,
Micah for some reason, but then I was like, no, y'all
okay.
didn't actually talk with Micah in the bar.
Actually, what happened first was Averin sat somewhere else away from everyone for the meantime.
Mm.
It was Ellie and Bill at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to.
Okay.
There we. Nope. Wrong one. There we go.
How did I kill?
Don't
Wait,
ask.
that is not the end. Oh, there it is.
Nope. This is not toward the
Yeah,
end.
that. Yeah. No, I was thinking of the other one that you just shown, which was how did I kill someone
It's
without
fine.
killing them?
It's fine.
But yeah, so yeah, this is the lovely picture. My sister drew this for lovely video reference for us. I love you're still repositioning it.
It's because I saw my
anyways.
Ellie token for some reason in the background, so.
Yeah, and so Averin was at their chair right in the background. Ellie and Bill were in the seat, and Tommy, the bartender, is just standing there. But essentially,
yeah,
while they're
Averin
here,
was just munching.
Yeah, and while they're munching, we pretty much went back and forth between this scene and them inside the room. But inside the room was very quick and simple of Rumina popping in at the window being like, "Hi, Oliver. I'm here. I won't kill you, probably." Yeah. Cute. Oh, I forgot how cute that is. Plot.
It is so cute.
It's so cute. And
so for this scene, really, it was more of a we had the it went the scene with Bill where he was asking for the finest, most flammable alcohol ever, and then it popped to.
Came after this one.
Actually, yeah, you're probably right. That came afterwards because Rowena and her friend went through the window.
Yeah. But yeah, so Rowena and her friend went to the window. Ollie opened up for them. They came through the window. Rowena asked, "Hey, what can I do to help?" She's kind of concerningly, possibly dying. And Oliver basically was
some
like,
way to like help her in the meantime, even because she seems to be getting worse. So that's when Oliver gave her the last little bit of his previous dose. That during this scenario, he was still testing his possible likely cure on the sick rats.
And it seems to have been working on the rats as well. Averin, this entire time, as you can see from that lovely picture, listened in on their entire conversation. Just because she can for some reason or another. As Rowena started to leave the room to go talk with Ellie about things that she's learned or just general hip-haps, learning about the conversations and all that, Averin managed to sneakily go back to her chair without anyone noticing. So now, if you want to switch that other one, Averin is now sitting away from the group, eating some food, just observing the crowd and the group from afar. Ellie and Bill are at the counter, talking to Tommy. Bill decides to give Tommy a platinum, which is, 10 gold, which is 10 silver, which is 10 copper, which is like an
probably the most that man has ever
amount
gotten.
of copper. It's also a lot of money for Bill. But it's just an ungodly amount of money for most peasants or most people in general. As such, most beer, very cheap alcohol, tends to be exceptionally cheap, being like 2 copper or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think he did say it was like 2 copper, and it's like, okay, well, either I can give you like a whole barrel's worth or 2, and you can have someone carry it, or actually just for life, you can have alcohol.
Yeah, so it'd be like five, five for silver, and then 50 for gold. So 500 beers for one platinum, basically. Which was just a stupidly large quantity of alcohol that Tommy really just did not want to attempt to shove into Bill's bag. So he was like, Bill's like, I want your most flammable alcohol. And Tommy, with the most confused look, basically just said, it's alcohol. They're all flammable. um, do you want for a group or a person? And with Bill's low intelligence, Bill really didn't have an answer. He just wants to burn people if he needs to. So Bill just told him, you want to burn people, the best thing to use is just beer. I'll take everything you have and more.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
basically
pretty
how it
much.
went. Because he also ended up um getting the rest of the really deadly, wonderful alcohol because he managed to finish off his flask that that he has. He's like, "Oh, read the name on this." And it's like, "Okay, fill it up." Because that last little bit of that deadly alcohol went to Dr. Rigamortis.
Hmm.
And
And
he's
effectively,
okay.
Tommy said that the alcohol that Bill just straight up drank, just like it was fucking toothpaste. Yes, you are not supposed to
Ew.
drink
That
toothpaste,
is
and yes, toothpaste
no.
is a very bad
He
option to drink, and that's exactly why I'm comparing it to this alcohol.
You could have
Because
used
you
like
should not be
Pepto-Bismol.
drinking.
There we go. Or cold medicine.
Oh
You could
no,
have
because
used
that shit's
anything
good for
else.
you.
Doesn't mean you enjoy the
Toothpaste is
flavor.
not good for you to drink, let me tell you.
Technically, cold medicine isn't good for you to drink after so much. So, honestly, true. How would you drink toothpaste?
It's very simple. You take a lot of water and you turn it into like this frothy liquid that then you
Oh
then add
gosh.
mouthwash to in order to be able to make it really drinkable. You know, it's like a slimy paste that's like slithering down your throat.
Anyway.
You're welcome. So yeah, Tommy basically just gave him the other half, like half of the bottle of the obscenely deadly alcohol that really should be enough to kill an orc. Uh, Bill has just really high tolerance. Um, and then Tommy also makes the comment to Ellie that he used to hate Jackson, while Jackson had a debt to him. But now that Ellie has paid his debt,
Yeah.
he loves the fool.
You
He
know,
has also
it's
made
fine.
that comment several times about several people, including debts. So that's fun.
It's fine. It's
Um,
fine. It's totally fine.
totally
We're
fine.
not gonna worry about
And
it.
then Rowena finally comes up to Ellie and starts talking to Ellie about everything. And Ellie fills Rowena in on the recent adventures. I think you could probably switch to the other scene if you want to. About the circuit to Dr.
Not yet.
Mortis, which led to them finding out about the 4 weapons of the apocalypse. Well, 4 most likely weapons of
Well,
the
yeah.
apocalypse. Um,
Which
wait.
Ellie was trying to find out if Rowena knew anything by chance.
Hmm.
But before we switch to the next scene, um, because that conversation was more of a private one-on-one with like what to do now, letting Ellie
Hmm.
know what happened with Dad ish. Um, anyway, while all three of them were at the bar, we talked about shrinking Bill into an arrow. I don't remember much of that, but
So
we
the
would shrink him
idea
into an
that they
arrow and
had
shoot
was
him.
very similar to the Paladin grenade, and essentially, I believe it was either one of Bill's abilities, or it was enlarge reduce or something of that sort. But
Oh wait, yeah,
essentially,
now I remember.
oh yeah, no, it
Sorry.
was
It
one of
was
the
because
magic
he
items that
wanted
Bill
to
got.
yeah, he also wanted to melt down all four of the apocalypse the four freaking weapons. He wanted to melt them down into an instrument.
Hmm.
So
So
he
the
wanted to also be shrunk onto an arrow or something and then like play the instrument. Something like that.
mhm. Yeah, and so the 3 items that y'all currently know about is the giant red bastard sword that the orc chief, head orc chief Bloodtooth uses. You guys are fairly certain that's one of the weapons. The bow that caused Ollie to bow, like to essentially kneel, that your father has, and the sickle that y'all gave rigor mortis, which caused Ollie to grovel at. And Bill also told Rowena that the sickle was essentially telling him to continue holding it and was trying to take control of Bill. And wow, Bill don't let nothing take control of him. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so they're just missing one more weapon / item that they believe would be famine, because they already found Death's sickle, War's weapon, and Conquest's bow, which is, at least the players are fairly certain of this. The characters are just fairly certain there's 3 items so far of incredible danger, and rigor mortis told them that there's a 4th item, and no one knows what it is. And essentially, Bill wants to take all these items and turn them into a loot. Literally just wants to melt down all these items or take the wood and just plaster it onto a loot and use that as a weapon of war. Possibly. Or just shove it into a container. Rumia made the comment that she's all for getting these items since it would weaken the orcs in the coming war. Which is nice. Probably. But one of the comments that Bill had made is that he wants to take one of his items, which I believe is the red fur-lined hat, that allows him to move through space as narrow as a 1-inch wide gap without squeezing. And essentially, the idea behind this is that you carve a 1-inch notch into your arrow, and then Bill crawls into that 1-inch notch. You fire Bill at something, he pops out of the hole and just fucking tackles them like an angry bird flying through the sky like a demon
With,
on
Molotovs.
steroids. Oh yeah, and Molotov. Basically, yeah, just throwing thousands of Molotovs at it. Just like, yeah. Fantastic.
Which, keep in mind, this is the same bird that was greatly described to a T to be cowardless and mostly think of himself during battles. But now he's
Which he
wanting
so
to go
far
head
has.
first into battle.
I don't think a single time that y'all have been in a battle, he hasn't been as far away from y'all as possible.
I mean, if you count him breaking his head through a wall and scaring the living life out of elves,
It was
it's
not
fine.
a battle.
It was eventually a battle with some freaking fairies.
Fair. But anyways, essentially after Bill makes this comment and continues to talk to Tommy about outrageous quantities of alcohol, Rowena brought Ellie over to a corner so they could have a more private talk, and basically told her that she was supposed to kill Oliver by her father's orders, hiding the fact that it was either kill him or kill her entire team. She also mentioned,
Yep.
as you can see there, how do I kill someone without killing them? As she actually, shockingly, doesn't want to kill Oliver. She legitimately has no wish or desire to murder this super nice fellow who has done nothing but be a good person to her. I know, shocking. But she also mentioned that her mother Valerie could possibly help against her father Amar and getting the bow away from him, which will hopefully not take control of Rowena. Because essentially, if her mother managed to distract her father, then Rowena can go and just steal the bow, as she is a ranger and is real good at her job of fucking dodging people. Going to a mine that you sabotaged.
During this conversation, Ellie pointed out, already explained it to Rowena, that the weapons take some kind of control over the person wielding them. So,
At least seemingly
hopefully,
based on the sickle.
yeah. Hopefully, based on that, we will be able to have maybe a change of heart with Dad.
And then Ellie stated that at some point she will head over to Cataclysm to talk to Big Mama about orc culture, then possibly leading that up to the orc chieftain himself, Mr. Bloodtooth. They have had absolutely no interactions with Bloodtooth or his entire orc colony. Ah, yeah, the Babby is so fussy. She's been in a mood as of late. We don't know why exactly. It might be because she's starting to eat proper food. She's about 5 months old. It
I'm
warms me
pretty sure
heart.
you're the only one that can hear her, actually.
Ah, well, Sleeping Piranha just said so.
Well, that's because she fussed while I talked. But I have my
Yeah, that,
mute pushed to talk.
yeah, and I think it pushes to talk for Discord too. So,
Well, Anyway.
I'm explaining to Piranha. But anyway, yeah, Babby is like 5 months old and star of the light of the heart of the soul. She's gonna grow up watching this shit and just be like, what the fuck were you guys on when you guys were adulting adults?
Yeah, considering I was pregnant with her when we first started this, so it's fun. She's
Maybe one
basically
day in
heard this
like
whole
10,
story.
15 years, she'll be a part of my in-person stage-based play D&D thing. Oh, what a day that will be when we're old and gray.
You know what?
Anyways,
Anyway,
so during this point in time, that Ellie was talking to Ruina about possibly talking to the Orc Chieftain eventually, Mr. Bloodtooth himself, she stated that somehow their group needs to be able to stop both sides from going to war, hence why she would go and talk to the Orc Chieftain. If we stop one side from going, that really doesn't stop the opposing side from attacking. If you stop the elves from attacking, the orcs seem to be relishing the fight, relishing the danger, and finding glory in their death. So they would go and hunt. While on the flip side, if you stop the orcs from fighting somehow, the elves would hunt them down and exterminate them simply for their crime of being alive. And so Rowena, of course, saw no issue in the idea that you stop the orcs and the elves slaughter them all, but Ellie did not like this very much. So she brought up the idea that
yeah,
you could
it's
send a
fun.
mass message to everyone via bird or bard to meet in Greytown, discuss what they could do. So Big Mama, um, Arthur. I'm trying to think of anyone else you would talk to.
I mean, I
Somebody
don't want
else.
to. Technically, the more people I can talk to, the better. But in any case, it really only has to be the people that are going to be involved in the war. So, really, it's just the orcs and the elves, which would just be Big Mama at that point. But it would probably be good to bring Arthur into it, as much as I want to avoid that.
He goes toe to toe with the entire fucking army.
I hope
Come
not.
get some. Um, but yeah, she also brought
Also
up
probably
hmm?
shouldn't bring Grand P into this mess, so.
Grampy walks in there with a cane and a bottle of booze and is just like, "I win tonight, boss." But yeah, so at that point, Ellie also brought up that they could either get rid of all the weapons they are possibly taking control and forcing the war taking the weapons that are taking control and forcing the war to stop that way. Or they could just do it so no one shows up. Right? They could just stop both sides from actively walking forwards and stopping. Um, Either one's possible. Both are quite difficult, as you guys can imagine. But Ellie then closes that off with the fact that it would be nice to just have it all over with. Because she wants to be back in her forest with Jackson, Grampy, Grumple, and Arthur. Grumple being the bartender of the Lofa Forest. She wants to have more time with her sister and her mother. Just it turns out things could possibly be without war. But she cannot let her selfishness for her happiness get in the way of other people's opportunities to be happy or to return to their families like she wants to, or their found families like she's found with her group so far. She does not want to sacrifice their happiness for her own.
Yeah,
And
because
Rowena.
I'm
Hmm?
And you guys can double check on that conversation because that conversation was mostly stemmed from, well, Ellie saying that was stemmed from her little talk with Arthur on her little personal day. And that was like episode 16.5,
I
where she was
believe
just
so,
out
if
and
I remember
about
correctly.
with Jackson right before they went to the Citadel.
15.5. 16.5 was Ruina's episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So if you guys want to check that out, that's when she talks to Arthur and to Jackson. Arthur being my favorite NPC I've ever made, and one I
He
hope
is
to bring forward
absolutely
quite a lot
amazing.
more.
I really hope so too.
Yeah, don't put their spirits too high.
You know what? He's a wonderful NPC. You should totally bring him up again, but not in the
Sure.
war.
Yeah, let me just drop him right in the middle. I mean, let me make him owl bomb into the middle of the battle.
Let's not.
um, but yeah, and so Rowena states, as you can see there, how do I kill someone without killing them? She doesn't want to kill Oliver, but she also doesn't want to necessarily lie to her father, that she is still debating on whether or not he's doing the right thing. And so Ellie suggests that Rowena could
Make
possibly
him like
take
fake his death.
make him fake his death. Possibly take something of Oliver's that would imply that she killed him without too much doubt. And one of those options was possibly take one of Ollie's horns back as proof. Technically speaking, a lot of the horn is made of the same stuff that your fingernails are made of. And so as long as you don't go too far down, it wouldn't hurt. Similar to if you cut a cat's nails and stuff like that. So technically speaking, she could cut off part of his horn and use that as, "Hey, I killed him! I killed him!" But so Rowena went to tell Oliver of her plans, and that's roughly where we ended it. One thing that we also stated is that Averin spotted Tommy flipping a coin
Still mad
just at
about
the bar.
this, but it's for something else.
Still quite mad about this, but he was just flipping a coin as a bartender would clean a glass or something like that. It's just something that bartenders do, is they just do something at the bar to make you not feel quite as uncomfortable with them just staring you down constantly. So he was just flipping a coin, but this caused her to recognize him a little bit, especially as she got up to get a drink from him. And that is where we ended that session off last episode. And then the next episode, we're going to be starting it probably from right there. And then we're going to have said that Rowena has talked with Ollie at this point, because Rowena is unfortunately not able to join us until very possibly, but very unlikely, summertime. If that does happen, if it doesn't, oh well, as unfortunate, but we shall see. But so that's where we're going to be starting, is that Rowena has already talked with Oliver about all the plans that they had just mentioned there. Averin talks with Tommy and kind of sort of recognizes him, and then the group is going to possibly try to find Ezekiel, and we'll see how we go from there. I also want to say thank you guys for watching us for over a year now of this one campaign.
It's insane.
It's been
It's
quite a
only been
lot
a
of
year.
fun. Huh?
It's insane that it's been a year already.
Yeah, it is like super strange and super nice to have this been going on for a year. I am really thankful that all of you guys want to have wanted to sit by and watch us for so long, especially with how consistent a lot of our views have been. Same with Jump Chain. I know a lot of you guys have been super interested in that. And we're trying to get everything to go on board. We're also trying to produce better content for you guys. And so I've upgraded my PC a little bit. We're going to be moving here soon into a new apartment. Hopefully everything should be more streamlined, more stable. Our schedule should be a lot more consistent, as we're going to be trying to grow and grow and build and build. So always feel free to let other people know as well. The best way to share our content is by word of mouth and by sharing things. So it's always very helpful and useful to do that. And yeah, just thank you guys for being around and being here. We do a lot of different content. We do TTRPG streams, which we show on Tables of Tartarus, and we do general streams of Let's Plays, such as Borderlands, which we're currently playing through, Monster Hunter, West of Loathing, some more niche games like South Park Stick of Truth, Rogue's playing. And we've done a couple other ones, like we're doing Dark Souls, uh, basically a Master Chief mod. We did original Dark Souls 3. We did a randomizer of Dark Souls for a bingo game. A couple other things that we have on Vods of Valhalla. Whoa. Okay. We're also doing a couple
It's fine,
other
it's fine.
stuff. Yeah, we're also doing a couple other stuff that I want to tell you guys about, which is that we are attempting to make the first, I believe, 17 chapters, I think.
Oh, you mean a book one? No, it's first
Yeah,
14. So the first
first
14
14.
episodes of Shifting Fates is going to be turned into a book.
Are you sure it's not the first? Is it the first? Oh, right, because Mother
Yep,
and Father was 14. That's right.
yep.
Okay.
It's literally the
Yeah,
first
so
14 episodes.
that's insane. Um
A
yeah, so we're
whole
gonna be trying to
6
turn
months,
hmm?
mind you, a whole 6 months worth of Shifting Fates.
Yeah. So
That
we're gonna be
was
trying to
6
turn
whole
the first
months.
14 episodes of Shifting Fates into an actual full-on book, which we're hoping to one day publish and produce. We're also going to be turning a couple other series into books as well in the future. We're going to be turning Fallout Equestria into a full book, possibly not an actual published book for obvious reasons, mostly because it is a fan fiction. But we have a couple other ones on our minds as well, including Angels and Demons ones. I have just kind of in my headspace. And then I think there's one more, but I don't quite remember what that one was at the moment.
We have, so what we
Oh,
have is Shifting Fates. We have Fallout Equestria. We have technically kind of the Western one that was up in the air. And we
mhm,
have,
the Orc one.
oh
That was
my
it.
gosh, the Orc one.
Yeah, Lost and Found. That's probably going
Lost
to be
and
one of
Found,
my favorite
yes.
ones. Yes,
I'm
your
excited
errors did
for it.
function correctly, Fallout Equestria. I am taking essentially the original uh series that I did a long time ago, back in I think 4 years ago now. Good lord. Um,
Goodness.
God, that makes me feel old. That was a memory trip I didn't really want to go down, but all right. Um, God,
It's
when I
fine.
look
It's
back
fine.
on this after our kids grow up, I won't feel so old.
Oh,
Um,
oh my heart.
God,
Did you guys hear
well,
that? Oh my heart. Hold on.
I'll
I'll
be
be
very
back.
old.
Give me 5 minutes.
But essentially, I made a campaign a long time ago, back when things were much, much more difficult, called Fallout Equestria Wandering Woes. And so far, I've made 10 chapters. I've written out the entirety of the outline based on the original concept that we did, based on the original campaign, with a lot of changes and a lot of modifications. And I will post the link to it. Fallout Equestria.
Oh, there goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
it did make
internet
it.
completely turned off.
Dang it. Don't worry, we will be fixing that at some point, hopefully. Um,
Well,
hello,
my
hello.
internet going
So,
out is not the same reason as yours, so.
yeah, so we will be
Mine
fixing that.
completely went out via modem and router, honey. So.
Well, we're going to get a different modem and router, and we're going to punt kick it if it decides to not work for
Oh,
us, so it will
it's.
work for us with intimidation.
Anyway.
Yeah, so don't remember where I ended, so I'm just gonna restart that. Essentially, I
Yeah.
am doing Fallout Equestria Wandering Woes, which is a fan fiction I've been making for about almost 3 years now. And hopefully it should be intimidate the machines into functioning. Hell yeah. So hopefully I should be able to produce that sometime here soon. I will be making more chapters as I'm able to. I have the entire thing written down, and it should be 50 chapters in total ish, and around, I think, 400,000 words, if I remember correctly. So about 500,000 words or so. So very long fan fiction. I think the same will be for shifting. Will probably be around 200,000, 400,000, I think. and then probably orcs. The orc one, Lost and Found, maybe longer. I'm a very proficient writer. I have an English degree to
I
back this up.
Yes, I absolutely love the Lost and Found story, and you guys will love it too. It is the one story that absolutely got me hooked into D&D because
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
one story he started reading to me when I had COVID. And COVID
Mm,
and having a toddler too underfoot for 10 days stuck in a room. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, it's a wonderful story.
Unfor-
It got me into
Unfortunately, there's
D&D,
only one
so
chapter that I've made so far, and I don't really have a place to put them yet except for Google Drive and Patreon. So eventually, I'm going to be posting on my Patreon as well as most of my stories. So if you guys want to go to my Patreon, I will one day be uploading it probably by chapter by chapter by chapter. And if you guys want to support us, you're always welcome to go to our Patreon. That is a much more direct way than Twitch, but you guys are always welcome to follow us on Twitch, and it does help quite a bit. Um, and I think that's most of our projects except for one, which we're probably going to do in several years. So we're not really sure how that's
yes.
going to be coming out yet, so we're not really going to make any promises on it. But just be aware, if you've ever taken theater and D&D and mixed them together, you will love what we're going to be making. If you were a theater kid or a band kid in your childhood, you will
Yeah.
adore this shit. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
especially if you do like Renaissance fairs or whatever. It's something you definitely would enjoy a lot.
Oh yeah. So hopefully you guys are going to be enjoying this content. We're also going to be doing a lot more gaming. We're going to be trying to get a lot more group gaming going on. We're trying to make that content as good as possible for you fine folks. Yeah, hopefully you guys just stick around, enjoy the content, see where we're going to see, and have a jolly old time as
Yep,
we
yep, yep.
run through this insanity called life that we are slowly wading through.
Yeah,
And all,
it's fine.
as always, feel free to go to our link tree if you guys want to see all of our different social media, including our Discord, where if you guys want to pop over to that, you guys can see all of our events, mostly all of our streams, or if I ever do a read aloud of my stories, which I'll probably be doing after I make new chapters. You guys can also see when I do those, which I'll probably just do inside of the Discords and not on stream, as streams while reading books is a little bit more difficult. But yeah, feel free to pop over there, and I will see all of you fine folks. I think tomorrow, actually. Yeah, tomorrow for
Yes.
Borderlands.
No.
I think.
No, not
No,
tomorrow. We will
no,
see
not
you
tomorrow.
guys on Friday for Shifting Fates. The
Yeah, we have an
continuation
in-person
of
D&D
the
campaign
story.
tomorrow, so we will not be streaming any Borderlands tomorrow, unfortunately. But next week, Thursday, we're going to be continuing Borderlands. I think finishing up a DLC, maybe. I don't remember how far we are in that DLC. I think we might be at the beginning. So getting through the middle of that DLC, possibly with Demon Slayer joining us. So hopefully,
Nonetheless, I
guys.
hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and hope to see you in our next stream.
Yeah, we will see all of you fine folks when we see all of you fine folks. And I am very eager to share all of this insanity of writing and creation and being a dumbass with all of you fine folks. Thanks for supporting us, and we'll see all of you fine folks in the next episode. Good night and goodbye.